Good morning, deans, faculty, family, friends, and of course, fellow graduates. All right, now that I'm finally up here, I have this awesome fantasy. I'll find myself in a situation where somebody screams, "Is there a doctor in the house?" Except when a real doctor sprints over, stethoscope in hand, the person will shout, "No, not that kind of doctor. We need a PhD. We have a pressing hypothesis to test, and we need somebody to design a valid experiment." I'll strut over, wink at the MD, and say, "Sorry, better luck next time." Like most of my fantasies, this probably won't come true. But that's okay, because the fact that I'm even standing up here today means that at least I got one of my dreams to come true, and that's more than most people get. Now that we are ready to move on, I cannot possibly offer any wisdom or advice about the future, since mine is just as nebulous as yours. Plus, we have spent or will be spending considerable time anxiously planning ahead, and I want to spend at least one day soaking up my past experiences here. So in that vein, I'd like to run one last experiment. So I'd like to ask the crowd, by a show of hands, whoever doubted any of your loved ones on stage would graduate today. Mom, don't raise. All right. Now to my fellow graduate students. Who here had moments of serious doubt that you'd ever finish your PhD? I was worried I'd be the only one. Nonetheless, my results show that this occasion is statistically significant for us. And overcoming this uncertainty has not been easy. We actually learned pretty early on about the fear and uncertainty surrounding finishing a PhD. Once enrolled at Stanford, we were offered a plethora of classes on how to best cope with the struggles and disappointments of research. Seriously, classes with titles like Overcoming Imposter Syndrome, Taming Your Inner Critic, Resilience, How to Bounce Back, or How to Have Difficult Conversations. I have yet to see any classes titled Dealing with Repeated Experimental Success or The Virtues of Humility. I guess biomedical research is humbling enough. So why do these issues of fear, uncertainty, and insecurity manifest? Our work only requires solving unsolved problems without a guarantee of success or graduation. And it's not like we weren't prepared to expect the occasional setback. I remember during admissions week, our keynote speaker's heartfelt speech telling us that we will try and we will fail, we will try and we will fail, we will try and we will fail, we will try. Maybe the message didn't sink in. As interviewees, still arrogant from our relative success up until that point, we viewed ourselves as outliers. We should have paid heed to the older grad students and faculty who nodded along misty-eyed. They later said it was the best speech about research they ever heard. It didn't take long for most of us to experience that first major blow to the ego. I still remember my own. It was my first talk to my entire program, and I was going to demonstrate my impressive intellect with a 30-minute journal club talk. Within the first 5 minutes, somebody asked me a basic question that I couldn't answer, and they wouldn't let me wiggle out of it. The wind out of my sails, the talk culminated in me grasping for metaphors by trying to describe mathematical concepts as a can of soup. And my friends didn't sugarcoat their feedback afterwards. It was bad. But I wasn't on my own. By the end of our first year, failure and uncertainty are pervasive. And add fuel to this fire of doubt, we are an extremely self-critical community. Between journal clubs' feeding frenzies, where we take perverse joy in criticizing each other's works, grilling speakers in front of their colleagues, or responding to misguided posts on SBSA Discuss, we are constantly challenging ourselves and others. But while this culture challenges those within it, it has also built us up even better than before. We had endless coffees talking about research, stress, life, the universe, and everything. Late nights and early mornings were spent in lab together, chasing exciting results while telling each other silly jokes. And I've seen so many of you get bad results, have experiments go wrong, uncover bugs in code, or worst of all, get scooped. And yet every single time one of you failed, I saw a colleague come and pick you back up. So while a PhD is a solitary project, it is built inside the scaffolding of our strong community. This community has served to develop us into world-class researchers, strong leaders, and dependable friends. Without its people, Stanford is just a large tract of land with some pretty buildings, an abandoned satellite dish, and would literally just be a farm. And I can honestly say that I never would have made it here without my colleagues next to me, and it's an honor to consider myself one of them. So while this occasion has been one of great pride and joy for me, it has been tinged by the sad thought that we have to leave this environment behind. But I can tell you that whatever professional and personal adventures I embark on, I plan to take the best parts of Stanford's culture with me. One where I require people to perform their best and I require the best of them. Where I offer criticism when necessary and praise when warranted. And I hope to contribute to my own small Stanford wherever I end up, though it possibly will be less manicured and sunny. And I ask that you all do the same and build great communities like our own. It goes without saying that you will have greater challenges in your future, so tackle them like you did here. And when things get really difficult and you don't quite know how you're going to carry forward, just remember, there is a doctor in the house. So thank you for coming, and congratulations, class of 2015.